So it appears we have a little bit of an issue here. I'm pulled over at this rest area. I noticed all of this residual oil spray, and upon closer inspection, got under the truck here. I don't know how well you could see with this flashlight, but my entire rear differential and everything around the rear is totally coated in oil. Totally worth risking the truck for these views. I'm about 2 to 3 quarts of oil, 2 to 3 quarts low on oil, again, even though I've already added about 4 quarts on this drive. This is the peak porch experience, in my opinion. For some reason, whenever it's time to get ready to leave for a trip, especially when you haven't been on the road for a while, it always seems like there's one thing after another that keeps coming up that prevents you from leaving. Last week, I was supposed to head out on this same trip, and Kaya, my dog, got giardia, so she had really bad liquid diarrhea for the whole week, which was not fun. Had to deal with that at the vet. The truck started leaking oil like a sieve, and this is an old diesel, you know. Of course there's gonna be some oil leaks, but this was just dumping oil on my driveway. So I had to take care of that, and then it just seems like there's a bunch of things that always come up right when you're getting ready to leave. And I don't know how much of that is just coincidence and how much of it is testing your resolve and your will to leave. Because sometimes it is difficult to leave when you've gotten used to the comforts and the routines of daily life. But anyways, we're on the road now, and that's what matters. We just left this spot called 1,000 Acres, and it's this giant off-leash dog heaven. It's not really a dog park. It's more just like this open, huge piece of land that kind of meanders through the forest a little bit. There's hiking trails, there's a river where the dogs could swim, and it's just this literal dog paradise. And it's on the way out to the Columbia River Gorge. So seeing as we've got about a 6-7 hour drive ahead of us today, I figure I would stop by, let Kaya run her little heart out, and hopefully she burned a lot of energy because it's gonna be a long day in the car. Don't exactly know why I'm low on coolant, but it hasn't been going down much since I noticed, so shouldn't be a big issue. Hopefully that doesn't spill everywhere. You're not driving. Go to the back. Come on. Come on. She always guards the truck while I'm away. She just sits in the front seat. Make sure nobody messes around. Good job. Good job. Good pupper. Also, look how cozy she looks back here. She's got this whole little cozy den to herself. No issues with cold starts today. It is toasty out right now. What is it? It's like, wow, it's only 56 degrees. It feels like it's 70. Whew. We are currently headed to Boise, Idaho, and Boise is just our destination for the night. Tomorrow we'll be headed to the Sawtooth Mountains. Boise is the midway point, so I figure we just stop there for the night and head up to the mountains tomorrow. spilling everywhere, Kaya. Probably seems like I'm always giving Kaya pup cups, but I can assure you I'm not. Just so happens that a lot of the time when we go on longer drives like this, I give her one as a little reward for being so good in the car and being patient. Stop to get myself a little treat too. All right, away we go. You ready, Kaya? Ready to continue? Was it good? Yeah. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was, wasn't it? This is kind of like the actual maiden voyage of the cabin camper. I did go on a couple shorter trips before, but those were more just like shakedown runs, testing out the cabin as is. This is the first longer trip, and it's also the first time I'm going to be going out and testing out some of the new amenities that you guys saw me install. One question I get all the time is what kind of fuel mileage I get with the cabin on the back of the truck, so we're gonna answer that question right now. That's how they trick you. The sign that you see from the freeway says 385 a gallon for diesel. But you get here, it's 425. Anything to get you through the door, right? Oof. That hurts. All right, so 28.977 gallons to fill up. And I don't know if you could see that, 292 miles on the last tank, which I already can tell this is gonna be a really bad tank. So we got 292 divided by 28.977. 10.07. Just over 10 miles per gallon, which is pretty dang bad. But the last tank I actually got like 11 and a half. So I'm not quite sure what happened this time around. That being said, my speedometer is actually off by about 4 miles per hour. So, you know, if you take that into account, there's a good chance I'm getting 1 to 2 miles per gallon better than my calculations. So more or less, I would say roughly between 11 to 13 miles per gallon on a good day is what I average with the cabin camper on the back of the truck. $391 is a lie. Don't believe it. So it appears we have a little bit of an issue here. I'm pulled over at this rest area and we're going on a little walk, feeding Kaya, and I noticed all of this residual... Kaya, over here, Kaya. I noticed all of this residual oil spray, and upon closer inspection, got under the truck here. I don't know how well you could see with this flashlight, but my entire rear differential and everything around the rear is totally coated in oil. As you can see, the spacer lifter block there by the leaf springs is coated. The entire axle itself, the differential, rear sway bar, even here all along the exhaust, there's oil. There's oil all along the underside. Come around down here to this side, and you can see not as bad on the front, but the shocks are dripping oil, calipers, freaking everything. Look at on this side. On that side, it's really bad. over here. Doesn't look like the differential is leaking from the bottom at all. So since everything is covered with oil, I honestly can't really pinpoint where the hell the source is even coming from. It almost seems like I just like ran through a giant puddle of oil or something, because it's just on everything. I can't even tell. It doesn't smell like it's gear oil, so that's very strange. And the truck is driving totally fine. Literally no indication that there's an issue at all as far as like driving. But it's definitely not looking good under there, so I don't know what to do, honestly. The really perplexing part is all of the spray that's all along in here in the wheel well. It's literally all over the top of the leaf springs here. I'm about 45 minutes outside of Boise, so what I think I'll do for today is I'll try to make it to Boise, post up for the night, and maybe see if we could find like a mechanic or something in the morning that's willing to check it out, or I don't know. I'll figure something out, but for now, we're going to Boise. The truck is driving totally fine right now. No problems accelerating, no weird vibrations, shakes, grinding noises, nothing. Literally wouldn't have ever known that there was anything wrong if I didn't see that oil splattered everywhere. So it definitely beats me what's going on. She hopped up there right away. No hesitation. Making yourself right at home, huh? Good. That's good. You should be. So, as I was mulling it over on the drive over here, I came to the realization that I know exactly what's going on with the truck. As I mentioned earlier, the truck has been leaking a decent amount of oil, and I fixed one of the major leaks, but that was just one of many. If you're familiar with these old 7.3 Power Strokes, you probably know that they are very prone to oil leaks. So I fixed one of the issues, which was the turbo pedestal O-rings, and that seemed to make a pretty good difference for a little bit. But now it appears that some of the other oil leaks are really starting to leak quite a bit of oil. So what happens, what I'm assuming is happening, is as I'm driving, oil leaking from the oil pan and the rear of the engine is making its way down the axle, or I mean down the drive shaft, down the exhaust. Maybe some of it is just dripping and flying in the air. And all of that oil that's leaking from the engine is ending up on the rear end of the truck, which made it appear that something in the rear end is leaking, when in reality, it's just getting completely covered by all of the oil that's leaking from the engine. So, not ideal, and it appears that the oil leaks are getting worse. What? What? I know, I see you. What do you want? Do you want your bully stick? So on the one hand, I'm pretty relieved that the rear axle isn't starting to go or anything like that. But on the other hand, it's also pretty alarming to see the amount of oil that is now pouring out of the truck. I had to add about 2 quarts of oil just driving from Portland to Boise, which is a lot of oil in a short distance. On a positive note though, check it out. Got the table from the last video all mounted, and no squeaking from styrofoam, and that's all perfectly installed now, so that was definitely a huge win. What I ended up doing was I got a 2x6 piece, and like many comments suggested, I ran it from the floor up to the lip of the bench area here, and I drilled these pocket holes and fastened it straight into the floor, And there's a couple pocket holes on either side right here, and those fasten the top up into here. So that is super, super stable and secure. And now I have a really well installed swivel table. Also installed these nice fairy lights in here. They're not actually twinkling. It just has to do with the camera's frame rate not matching the frequency of the lights or something like that. I'm not quite sure, but some technical issue. Either way, looks pretty good in here. Since it's already so late, really don't feel like cooking. So instead I'm gonna be making this Campbell's Chunky Soup Texas style barbecue burger. Looks pretty good. You already had your dinner. You still have dinner left. Eat that if you're hungry. You know what? All things considered, it's a pretty solid dinner. Not mad about that one. I'll tell you guys what, having ice cream in the rig is definitely a nice thing. Especially after a day like today, dealing with car issues. Nice little sweet treat to boost the mood, eh? Well, I gotta figure out what exactly my plan is tomorrow morning. Whether I want to call a mechanic or just continue the drive up to Sawtooth. I guess that's to be determined. I'm gonna see how much oil I'm losing, and then we'll go from there. See you guys in the morning. I gotta go turn off the lights. That's one thing I didn't get yet, is one of those Bluetooth light bulbs. It's on the list though. Don't worry. Oh, did you guys notice my print here that I have hanging up? This is actually a print of a photograph that I took a couple years ago. I have a few prints that I was meaning to launch as like a print shop. So let me know in the comments below if you have any interest in checking out more of those prints. I don't have them on me, but I have about 10 that I really got polished up and ready, and I have sample prints because I was planning on launching a print shop, so you guys could potentially have some artwork to hang in your house or your office or whatever. But if that's something you're interested in, feel free to let me know down below. And in one of these videos in the future, I'll show you guys the different prints that I have. All right, looks like, can you see that? Looks like we got enough oil, so it appears that we're losing less oil now, which, that's a good sign. I'm really not sure at all what changed. It appears that the truck is leaking like way less oil. It doesn't seem like I've leaked really any since I was at the rest area and I discovered that big oil leak. So I don't know. I don't know what the heck's going on, but I'm not gonna question it. This is a good thing though, because this means that we'll continue on to the Sawtooths as planned today. Before we make the drive today to the Sawtooths, I'm gonna go to the dog park to let Kaya run around and get some of her energy out before the semi-long drive. Good girl. Good girl. While I was making my breakfast, I noticed that the power station that's powering the fridge is already at 45%. 45% in, you know, maybe like 30 hours or so, which is not that great. So that being said, I'm gonna charge it up a little bit while we are on the road. Ugh. Pretty perfect spot to keep that while it's charging. I don't know about you guys, but 30 hours does not seem like much time for the power station to go all the way down to 40%. My power station is the Anker Solix 800, which I believe has a watt-hour capacity of around 1,000, give or take. So it's not very good. It's not a very good sign. I've always kind of felt like the Anker dies faster than other power stations, so maybe that has something to do with it. But either way, I think it seems like I'm probably gonna have to beef up my battery system, because I was just running the fridge. I was planning to like charge camera batteries, run the Starlink, all that stuff. Just under 4 hours to go. You ready, Kaya? Looks like we are once again leaking a bunch of oil. I was stopped at the gas station for, you know, long enough to fill up, and quite a large puddle formed underneath the truck within a matter of minutes. I am totally at a loss on what to do right now, guys. On the one hand, part of me is thinking it's just an oil leak, it's an old diesel. This is to be expected, not a big deal. Just continue to add oil and keep an eye on the level. But on the other hand, just the sheer amount of oil that is coming out of the truck right now is a little bit concerning. Even the porch here, I don't know if you could tell from the footage, but the porch is covered in oil splatters. I believe this is all oil splattered. All over the ladder there's oil. Even up here on this little ornament, I don't understand how the heck oil could be splattering all the way up onto the porch. Well, you know what? I've already made it this far. I might as well just continue and continue to keep an eye on the oil level. And if the truck starts driving funny or anything like that, then I could worry about it then. But for now, as long as we're driving fine, we'll just keep pushing forward. Who's over there? Who's over there? Welcome to the Sawtooth National Forest. Dude, it is freaking epic out here, man. Totally worth risking the truck for these views. I'm pulled over having some lunch right now, and this salsa here, this extra hot habanero ghost pepper salsa from Trader Joe's, it is no freaking joke. This stuff is intense. Oh my gosh. I kind of assumed, I was like, it's Trader Joe's. How spicy can it be? painfully spicy. That's how spicy it could be. The bad news is I'm about 2 to 3 quarts of oil, 2 to 3 quarts low on oil again. So far, by my rough calculations, I've lost anywhere between 5 to 7 quarts of oil this trip, which is wild. That's a lot of oil to just be spilling out of your truck. This is not the Maiden Voyage that I had envisioned, that's for sure. I know it probably doesn't look too great with the glare from the sun, but over there in the distance, those are the Sawtooth Mountains. As you can see, the jagged peaks look like a saw blade, which is, I'm sure, where the inspiration for the name came from. The last time I was out here, there was tons of free dispersed camping everywhere, but given that there's still quite a bit of snow on the ground, I'm not quite sure how access is gonna be to get to those spots. Something tells me access is gonna be pretty limited. So hopefully we're still able to find a good camp spot without too much issue. While we were out walking around the campground, I found a much better camp spot over here, right next to the river. It's also further away from the highway, so I could actually let Kaya just like run around. Unlike the other spot, she would have had to been tethered up. Come on, hop on out. Oh wait, come here. There you go. I trust Kaya for the most part off leash, not to do anything stupid, but the road was literally like right next to the campground. All she would have had to do was wander out into there for a split second at the wrong time, and that could have just ended up being really bad. Where we are over here though, the road is way over there, which she's not gonna go wander over there. Knock on wood, I don't wanna jinx anything. So here's the rig over there, and the river right over there. And we have this big snow field for Kaya to run around and burn off all her energy in. Much better camp spot. Got this fire ring over here, but there's snow all around it, so there's not really a good spot to put the chair. So instead, I'm just gonna use the fire pit that I brought along. One lovely thing about having a freezer is I'm able to bring frozen foods. Since we got to camp pretty close to sunset and I had to get Kaya situated, we had to go exercise, I wanted to hang out for a bit, have a fire, so on and so forth. We're getting a pretty late start on dinner tonight, so. Trader Joe's frozen Kung Pao chicken it is. Just because it's a quick and easy dinner does not mean that you have to sacrifice on the tastiness though, because this is freaking delicious, especially if you actually like cook it on the stovetop as opposed to just microwaving it. This is good stuff. Also got their vegetable fried rice. So I know, 2 very lazy, easy, convenient meals in a row, but honestly, I'm not mad about it. We'll do like half of the vegetables. Kung Pao sauce. This looks freaking bomb. And the fact that it was all so easy to make and throw together in like 10 minutes makes it that much better. Wow. Legit, this is just as good as Panda Express. Maybe even better. The diesel heater gets it so warm in here, so fast. It's amazing. So the bad news is that the power station is already down to 1% after just 2 nights of powering only the fridge. The diesel heater is hooked up to the camper's battery, so it's not drawing any energy from the power station. The only thing plugged in to the power station is the fridge, and it's basically dead after 2 nights. I also charged it for like 2 hours while driving yesterday. Either the fridge is consuming a lot of power, or the Anchor power station, like I kind of mentioned yesterday, it dies a lot faster than other power stations. I don't know exactly, but what I do know is I'm gonna have to now figure out. I have my solar my solar panel to charge it, so today I might have to dedicate the day to getting that charged up. If the battery dies, then all my groceries are gonna go bad. And I also was planning on using the power station to run my Starlink so I could edit and upload a video. Gotta love battery problems. I'm just gonna totally beef up the camper's battery. That way I could run the fridge right off the battery, not have to worry about dealing with the power station. Install a DC to DC charger or something. Already got 200 watts of solar on the roof, but maybe I'll add some more between the solar and the DC to DC charger. I won't run into this issue again. Now this is exactly what I had in mind when I was getting this cabin. Sitting out here on the porch, coffee in hand, beautiful river view. This is the peak porch experience, in my opinion. I think that's actually gonna do it for this one. Thank you guys, like always, for watching. I'm glad that I made it here to the Sawtooths. You know, spilled about 5 to 6 quarts of oil along the way, but that's all right. Could just keep on adding oil, right? Anyways, thank you, like always, for watching. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. See you in the next one.